going. Let's see. Awesome. Okay. So as I was saying, this is one of our 4 core classes. This is our class on CBD. I am super excited to come and teach this class today because I was a huge skeptic, like huge, even more than essential oils. And it took me 4 years to try essential oils. So it's been a long time coming. And a lot of it was because of the fear that we have been indoctrinated into, and it was not based off of any science. So we're going to bring a little bit of science and a whole lot of hope today and give you guys some facts so that you can also be empowered for your health journey today. Okay, let me share my screen real quick. Share screen. So excited about this class. I had a lot of preconceived notions and scarcity mindset around CBD because of my RN license. I will not do anything to, sorry, let me move my computer a little bit, to jeopardize that because I love being a nurse and helping mamas birth babies and all of those things. So I had started to hear a couple of things about CBD, but I just kind of put that in the back pocket. It wasn't until Young Living came out with CBD that I really started doing my own research. We are going to go over some great things today, but I implore you to, again, take this as a starting point. I'm going to go over where you can find some of the resources today. Another resource that I'm not going to go over in the actual PowerPoint itself is a book on CBD. And it's from Dr. Oliver Winker. You can get that at discoverlsp.com or his actual website. You can just Google that. It's an intense book because it goes through all of the history and all of the things. But it's empowering, and that's what we want to do, right? We want to have the knowledge so that we don't just conform to what we've been taught, because we're all here because we have noticed that might not necessarily be the best path for our families. So we're going to talk about how a plant can impact you in a positive way. CBD is not a drug. It is a THC-free oil that is legal in all 50 states, and we're going to go through why that is. So as you can see, Young Living has tons and tons of CBD products. I love that there are options for strengths. I personally use the 1,000 milligram strength daily. I have a couple of different health challenge things that I like to take charge of so that I can have much better, happier days. And so I personally use 1,000 milligram strength. It is amazing. Amazing overall. We'll talk about dosing here a little bit later in the class, but there's 3 different flavors of that. And so the cinnamon is super yummy. It just has like a slight warming taste. And then there is the cool mint that's a little bright, and then the citrus. And then with the muscle rub, amazing. I love it. I have a rib that likes to slip out on me, especially when I've been up for 30 hours and then I want to sleep for a long time in one position. So that has been a godsend. And then the CBD Calm. Again, we have only used the 300 milligram strength in the joint rub and in the Calm. I actually have some of mine right here with me today, but it has profound effects on all of our health. Me, Chewy, the girls, the dogs, everybody benefits in our family from the CBD. So I'm super excited to go over the science because there is so much science happening for CBD right now. And because of our seed to seal, the way that our hemp is grown with Young Living, we have unmatched purity. And I will tell you why that is so important, especially with growing our plants here in just one second. And a thing to know, it's just like what I mentioned with the Ningxia Red class that we taught about. We have essential oils in our CBD. And why that matters so much is that it's the delivery system for the CBD into the cells. Just like with our Ningxia Red, the essential oils that are in our Ningxia Red are the delivery system to get the wolfberry and all the other goodness into the cell. So it helps our body to optimize them better. It's just another way to ensure that our money is actually being utilized in the supplements that we use instead of flushed down either the sink or the toilet. Okay, so let's go over real quick. They have some gorgeous videos, and so I'm going to plug in a couple of these. This is the Young Living CBD Starter Kit, which of course is the cheapest way because Young Living is amazing and does some awesome deals on starter kits. How pretty. I love that we have all of the options of the gorgeous, beautiful videos nowadays. Okay, so what is CBD used for? I'm pretty sure it'd be simpler in a shorter class to say what it's not used for. CBD is a miracle worker, and if you have used any of the CBD products from Young Living, you absolutely know that that is a factual statement. I implore you once again to go take this as your starting point and go do some research for yourself. So Dr. Oliver Winker does have that book, which is phenomenal. You can also go to Google Scholar and type in CBD and then whatever else you're wanting to learn about, like CBD for muscle pain or CBD for anything else that you can think of, and you can see, because literally there are research studies coming out almost every single week on CBD. So that is an amazing resource for you. I wouldn't necessarily go and just Google, because who knows, like the truthfulness of some of those articles. But if you go to either Google Scholar or pubmed.gov and type in CBD, then that will make a big difference in the factual statements that you're reading. So I wanted to share just another quick video on someone's personal testimony for CBD.
I use the muscle and joint balm daily. I shoot with a giant camera most of the time, and it's a lot of work holding that camera all the time, and I've noticed that it really helps my fingers feel a little bit less tired at the end of the day. I use the Calm Roller every night before bed. I roll it on my wrist and on my chest, and I just love the way that it smells. That the smell signals to me also that it's bedtime. It's become such a part of my routine that I think when I smell that, it's time to go to bed. And I know that it just makes me feel a little bit more relaxed and more focused at falling asleep. Being able to see Nature's Ultra's lab reports has been a huge difference maker for me. Being able to have confidence in what they're giving me feels good. Knowing that they are fully transparent in what they're providing to their consumers is huge. It shows me that they're not putting anything in these products that they're not comfortable with, that I wouldn't be comfortable with. They're just being open about what they're providing, and that makes me feel very confident in trying and using their products. I love using Nature's Ultra CBD and seeing the changes that it's made in my life, and knowing that there's other moms and other people that are maybe experiencing some of those same things. Being able to share this product with them has really made me feel great. Being able to pass on these benefits, knowing that I'm supporting a company that's transparent, that lets me see what they're doing. I can believe in that company and I can share that with others. And and feel confident knowing that it's a good product.
Let's see. Okay, so yes, this is huge. And you best believe as soon as Young Living announced CBD, I hightailed it. So it was at convention, of course. I hightailed it to the CBD booth and I found one of the scientists. And I was like, hi, I'm an RN. I have questions. And we literally spent 45 minutes. He was like, I am so ready for you. What do you got? And I asked all the questions I could think of. All of them. He gave me so many pamphlets and he was like, hey, this is our address. Come to the farm, which is an amazing thing about Young Living. Like, I had no fear, and I was even pregnant as a surrogate at that time. I had no fear using the CBD from Young Living, and it made a world of difference. I had a pregnancy like no other. A gorgeously huge 9-pound baby that was very healthy. I only gained a fraction of the weight that I normally did. I bounced back faster. So many things were better because of that. And now in my day-to-day life, I am a nurse, so I work nights 3 days a week. I've gotten crush injuries to my feet, which makes it really hard to be a nurse and walk. Sometimes it can be a little painful by the end of the shift. And so I've got my CBD muscle rub, and I used to have to use it every day. And now maybe once a month. That's one of the amazing things about our products, is that when our body is given proper nutrients and things to help our bodies to work better, our bodies can do amazing things when it comes to healing and rebuilding and rejuvenating and all of those things. So I want to talk about the giant elephant in the room. Is CBD marijuana? Because I was very naive when I first started learning about CBD. And honestly, that's why I didn't want to learn about CBD for a while, because I'm like, listen, I went to high school. Y'all know what marijuana is. Like, I'm good. I don't need any of that. I'm fine. Again, mom, respectable member of society. I don't need any of that in my life. But I was floored with just how wrong I was. So a little, like a miniature science lesson, like a little bit. So, let's see. The hemp plant is the cousin to the marijuana plant. It's like if we had sweet corn versus field corn. It is the same plant family, but it is different. The hemp plant is the parent plant, and cannabis is a scientific name for that plant. Both hemp and marijuana contain cannabinoid. Words stay. It's okay. Or CBD. The marijuana plant was hybridized to produce more than 40 times the amount of THC, the chemical responsible for making you high. Hemp has a very low amount of THC. In fact, for CBD to be legal, it must have less than 0.3% THC. Young Living CBD has 0.00% THC. That means members of the military, the police, everyone that normally takes routine drug tests can actually use our CBD products and pass all of them. So this made me go, huh? And it gave me pause, because I just thought it was all the same. And we harp on the importance of getting non-hybridized, non-genetically modified food when we can. And it was like, oh, they've done it to everything. But it makes such a big like light bulb go off in my brain, and hopefully it does for you. I will also say that I have used CBD every single day, not every single day, but most days, like 99.9% of the days since it's come out from Young Living. And I was very forthcoming with my employer because I started a new job in July. I actually didn't work for several months because at the time, that's when the virus happened and schools were shut down, and I needed to homeschool 3 girls, and I had a wild 2-year-old running around naked in my house. And I was like, I can't work 7 days a week, which was my past job, and homeschool our girls effectively. So I actually took a step back from my nursing career and I put them first. And you want to talk about using a lot of CBD calm? Woo, we sure did. But when I started my new job, I said, hey, I use CBD for pain relief. That's one of the reasons that I use it for every single day, because I have been healing my body from fibromyalgia. Okay. That's just my personal testimony, but this is one of the products that has really helped me with that. And I need you to test me. Strongest test you got for THC, the strongest one. And they said, okay. They even tested me twice that day and had me come back in a week. All of them have been negative, which is amazing because, like, in the medical field, we do not play. We're like, you're positive or something? Bye, Felicia. Like, we don't play. So that is a huge testimony to be able to say that. Not only is it helping improving the quality of life for me, but I am not having any issues with my employer. So why are we scared of CBD? Here we go. Ta-da! It's because we've been indoctrinated to be. Also, how we've been indoctrinated to think that we need to have a little bitty job and be a good employee and don't have big ideas, all the things. Like, it's just one more thing that our country has indoctrinated us with. But I want to give you guys just a little bit of facts behind that legally, again, for a tipping point for you to start learning some more. So let's see. We've been trained to be scared of it because it's the legal climate in the United States. With hemp being, with hemp started the Marijuana Act of 1937 that taxed cannabis. It had nothing to do with hemp being dangerous, everything to do with politics stuff. Hemp has been used for making paper and sails for boats. It's been used for so many things throughout history. But it was competing with some other businesses at that time in the 1930s that they wanted to kind of push cannabis aside so that they could make more money. Hemp is actually one of the oldest cultivated crops of all time. Excuse me. It's been used for over 6,000 years from China to Rome, even in the US. I thought this was interesting. Early Jamestown settlers were actually taxed by the British government if they did not grow hemp because the British needed it for sailing. Early drafts of the Declaration of Independence were written on hemp paper. So, like, makes you think, right? It's kind of like how the pharmaceutical industry popped up and then all of a sudden all these natural things that have worked for thousands of years are no longer good. It makes you think. Another video.
CBD may be getting mainstream attention for the first time, but it doesn't mean that it's completely new. In fact, CBD has a long, fascinating history. The first documented use of medicine derived from cannabis dates all the way back to 2737 BC. But while the cannabis plant has been around for a long time, the recognition that it's comprised of unique compounds called cannabinoids is much more recent. During the rise of modern medicine, cannabis was largely unrecognized by the medical community due to the lack of scientific evidence of how it worked, or even if it worked at all. In 1839, however, an Irish physician and medical researcher named William O'Shaughnessy published a study exploring the effects of cannabis. He also described possible medical applications, of which helped set the stage for future research. In 1940, chemist Robert Kahn identified the structure of cannabis plant in an individual cannabinol, CBN. Then, in 1942, American chemist Roger Adams and his colleagues successfully isolated the cannabinoid for the first time, cannabidiol, CBD. 2 years later, tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, was isolated for the first time. You will likely recognize THC as a psychoactive compound of the plant that causes euphoric effects. That's going to be important later, so keep that in mind. Once scientists understood that there were multiple cannabinoids and were able to isolate them, research into how individual cannabinoids work began. In 1946, Dr. Walter S. Lowe conducted tests using cannabis on lab animals. He noted that THC caused psychoactive effects on the animals, while CBD did not. In 1963, Dr. Raphael McCoolin took this research a step further and discovered the stereochemistry of CBD followed by the stereochemistry of THC 1 year later. This revealed a direct relationship between THC and the euphoric effects associated with cannabis and distanced CBD from the mind-altering compound. Unfortunately, stigma surrounding the cannabis plant due to the psychoactive euphoric effects often caused by THC led to restrictions on availability of cannabis, even for academic purposes. It became very difficult to do research on cannabis because possessing it, even for academic purposes, was prohibited. For many years, scientific research on cannabis, and thus CBD, was held back. While cannabis research may have been hindered by stigma, it wouldn't be defeated by it. In 1978, New Mexico became the first state to pass legislation allowing the medical use of cannabis in some form. They did so through the Controlled Substance Therapeutic Research Act, which allowed the use of cannabis through a research program approved by the Food and Drug Administration. In 1996, California became the first state to legalize medical marijuana with the passing of Proposition 215. Many other states soon followed suit. With the legalization of medical marijuana came legal access to cannabis, and that allowed researchers to dive deeper into the study of CBD. Let's jump ahead to the current state of CBD. The 2014 Farm Bill laid the groundwork for the legalization of cultivating hemp and its products, such as CBD, and in 2018, it was expanded upon. According to the 2018 Farm Bill, hemp that contains less than 0.3% THC is legal to cultivate, and products that are derived from it and also contain less than 0.3% THC are legal to sell. This means CBD is federally legal as long as it is hemp-derived and contains 0.3% THC or less. With the widespread legalization of hemp-derived CBD has come renewed interest in it, and CBD oil is now one of the most popular products in the health and wellness industry. At Nature's Ultra, we're strongly committed to creating high-quality CBD products that fully comply with regulations. We have a partner farm in Colorado where we use organic and sustainable farming practices to cultivate the best possible hemp plants. Our quality assurance system tests to ensure that all of our products contain non-traceable amounts of THC, and we publish our lab results so you can be completely confident that your product contains no traceable amounts of THC and is federally legal. That leads us to our final point, CBD's future. Because CBD is widely available now, more and more research is being done. That research will likely lead to more recognition of how CBD can help with people's health and lifestyles. We're confident that for many years to come, CBD will not just be a popular supplement, but one that offers a multitude of benefits for a wide range of people.
Oops. I do that every time. One of these times I'll get better about it. Okay, so I think that is awesome because like it's sad that that bill that kept the hemp plant or marijuana, CBD, all those things linked in the same category as cocaine kept the research from happening for a lot of years, which is unfortunate. Even though, again, people have been using it for thousands and thousands of years. So hemp is actually a plant, like he said, that produces phytocannabinoids, which naturally enhances the body's endocannabinoid system. Much like essential oils do not cure the disease, but they aid the body's natural immune system by doing behind-the-scenes things that help our bodies to work better on a cellular level. That's how our CBD works as well. When our little soldiers or our little cells are reinforced, they can do fighting on their own better. So the endocannabinoid system is fascinating. It is so fascinating. I learned a ton from that book from Dr. Winker, but every single year we learn more and more and more about this system. And it wasn't even discovered until the 1930s. 30 years after hemp was banned. Hemp could not even be studied, like we said, because it was a Schedule I drug, a controlled substance drug because of the Act of 1970. Let's see. I lost my train of thought. But one thing that I actually like to use on an almost daily basis as a joke with my patients is the endocannabinoid system does amazing things. I mean, it helps with fertility, it helps with the way that all of our organs are working, helps with our cardiovascular system, our memory, pain receptors, all the things. But it also, the endocannabinoid system, so there's cell receptors all over our bodies, right? Where is the highest concentration of the endocannabinoid receptors in a human body? Does anybody know? I didn't know this. I had no idea. It's actually in the female uterus. And the endocannabinoid system is responsible for tons of things, right? One of those things and how it acts in the female uterus is it actually gives you temporary amnesia. So we don't remember labor, we don't remember all the bad stuff about pregnancy, and then we have more babies. But with that first contraction, it all floods back to you, and you're like, no, I remember this, I don't want to do it again. So it was one of those like fail safes that God put in place to make sure that we didn't remember what we went through, so we'd have more babies. Or there would be like one baby to every family. I'm just saying. I think that's really funny. That's like a little extra bit that doesn't have anything to do with CBD, but just the endocannabinoid system. So it is definitely an amazing system in our bodies. So most authorities actually predict that because of the resurgence and the ability to research cannabis, CBD, hemp, all those things, that there will be over a 700% increase in the amount of hemp that is grown worldwide, especially in the Midwest. It will be grown as much as corn. Most Americans within the next 5 years will have at least tried a CBD product, and a high percentage will begin to use it on a regular basis, like they do multivitamins, because it really can have that much of a positive effect on our bodies. I don't know about you guys, but I took vitamins before Young Living. I took all kinds of vitamins, but I rarely felt a difference. With Young Living's vitamins, I feel a difference. I feel a dramatic difference if I do not take my Theramin. I feel a dramatic difference if I do not take my Super B and my multigreens. It's just the way that it is allowed to work in our bodies because of the essential oils acting as those little piggyback systems to get all the goodness into our cells, right? So it's more bioavailable. That's the exact reason why our CBD is so good. And I will say that this lasts a very long time. We'll talk about dosing here in a second, but there is a little dropper right here. And I was actually surprised with how long it did last, because I was like, I'm gonna go through this so fast. And honestly, you don't. Okay, the body being ready for CBD. I kind of jumped a little bit ahead with my endocannabinoid system story because I think it's so cool. But it's amazing that our body actually has cell receptors built in for this. So let's see. God built receptors in our endocannabinoid system, especially for CBD. What? Those receptors circulate throughout the body. They are even found on white blood cells. You can almost think of the endocannabinoid system like a hormonal system. So, as you know, especially us women, our hormonal system affects how we feel, our mood, our energy, our complexion, all of those things. Well, the endocannabinoid system does that as well. So it works in things that you would never expect for it to work also too, which is amazing. I was taking it for overall just to help with my body's pain and nerve sensitivity, and my complexion has been so much better, and my hair is growing better, and all these things, my cycles are regulating better. All these things that I didn't intentionally start using the product for, and I feel like that's one of the best the best things that we have with our oils is all of the happy unintended side effects that we get from them. So why use CBD over other products? In one sentence, CBD is a plant. And I feel like if we can find a plant that works to help our body naturally work the way that it's designed to, start there. And then if our body is needing more of a forced action, then there's medications, and then there's surgery. Like, we don't just jump to forced actions of medications on our bodies, because they have negative side effects, right? And it's usually a slippery slope. And once you take one, then you need another one, and then another one, and another one, because of all those negative side effects. Why not try to support our body in a plant-based fashion that is only going to help support our body's natural rhythms easily? And there's actually a doctor, Mark Lingenbaum, who has practiced as a chiropractor for 25 years, and he says the exact same thing. So that helps me feel a little bit better about like the way that I view also with medicine and natural medicine. Let's see here. Okay, so one thing to note is that unlike pan away that you can put on your temples and you notice a difference right away. Sometimes it can take a week of using CBD up to 3 or 4 months to see the maximum positive effects of CBD, because it's kind of like working behind the scenes and having to work on all the little things before you notice the big thing, if that makes sense. That's like when we use an essential oil and you do like a drop of peppermint vitality underneath your tongue because your head has more tension than normal and it doesn't work with just one drop. You wait a couple of minutes and then you can take another drop. It's because there might be so many other things going on in your body that that essential oil is working to bring into balance before it can affect the reason that you're taking it, if that makes sense. So he says, the studies that have been done with the Nature's Ultra, it says most noticed results after a week, but some patients needed to wait the 2 to 3 months, not 3 to 4, excuse me, I apologize, 2 to 3 months to see the maximum benefits. I would definitely recommend that you start off, they say, with a quarter of a dropper twice a day, which is 12 hours in between, and then use that continuously to be able to see those benefits in your life. I know that if I, for some reason, like I had just ordered a bottle of 1,000 milligram and it failed and busted all over the floor. And so of course I ordered another one, but I was like, so there was like a week that I didn't have any. So I needed to rebuild my body a little bit for that to have the maximum benefits that I had already been experiencing. Okay, let's see. How is CBD safe? In 2017, literature was reviewed looking at 74 total studies on the safety of CBD and gave promising results. The biggest side effects that were noted were a little bit of drowsiness and slight changes to appetite and weight. And I will say that it has been a positive thing for me. I don't have as much appetite. And I think it was mostly eating because I was bored. And then weight overall, I have a healthier weight than I did beforehand. And then with the drowsiness, I personally have not noticed that. But if that is something that you are worried about, definitely take your CBD in the evening time if you want to, and start off with just once a day. So can you get addicted or overdose? Again, that is a big question because we automatically group the hemp with the marijuana. And again, CBD is not the same as marijuana. There is absolutely no THC in Young Living CBD. In 2017, in November 2017, the World Health Organization published a report on CBD at a meeting held by their expert committee on drug dependence. The World Health Organization keeps an eye on over 3 billion people around the world. In that documentation, the committee claimed that there had been not a single case globally of physical dependence or withdrawal symptoms from CBD, nor had any reported cases of abuse or public health problems related to the use of CBD. So completely different than marijuana. Again, some of the earliest evidence of the hemp plant being used was, let's see, in China, 2737 BC, like before Christ, 2737 BC. It has been used for literally centuries. It wasn't until it was hybridized to become marijuana, like one of the plants was hybridized and made a whole another string of the marijuana that we think of today, that it became a problem. So you cannot get addicted or overdose from that CBD. The Current Drug Safety is a reputable journal with articles published on articles published on dozens of scientific sites like PubMed.gov also. So you can use Google Scholar and you can use PubMed.gov. It's used by doctors and researchers globally. So you can see more evidence of those researched articles if you would like to. But recently they did publish a report saying that they had proved that CBD was non-toxic. According to the article, even doses of up to 1,500 milligrams a day, about 90 times the amount a doctor would recommend, were well tolerated in humans. he said they don't recommend taking 90 times anything that's above the recommended dose, but it was still tolerated well. The reason CBD doesn't cause a high is because it interacts differently with the receptors in our brain than THC does. Again, the THC is what we think of with the marijuana plant. The CBD does not have that. THC attaches itself to these receptors known as CB1 and CB2 receptors. When you consume THC, you may experience physical changes such as those in coordination, mental changes, and those with your mood. You cannot have those types of reactions with non-THC CBD because of the chemical responsible for mind-altering reactions is just not present. So, who made the plants? Again, this is why we love and we're so passionate about Young Living with our essential oils, right? It's because it's in the purest form of how God made it. Let's keep it that way. Let's not use the hybridized version that is the marijuana that causes all the issues. Let's use it the way that God intended it to be used. This is one of my favorite scriptures, and one that I highlight every single time that I teach a Healing Oils of the Bible class is Revelation 22:2. The leaves of the, let me see, I have, it's cut off on my screen. I have it right here. The leaves of the plants are for the healing of the nations. Do not fear the plants. The constituents in peppermint oil cool you off. The constituents in CBD change the body, but for the better. Okay, so you don't have to worry about the plant the way that it was fully intended for us to use. So we talked a little bit about how much you can take and when. The easy answer is that we might all need slightly different dosing. Because we all have different metabolisms, the height, weight, ethnicity, what we're eating, how clean our lifestyle is, it all makes a difference, right? So they say experts recommend that you start with a quarter to a half of dropper twice a day and separate those doses by 12 hours to achieve 24-hour saturation in the body. And again, do that for at least a week. And some patients needed it for 2 to 3 months to see the maximum benefits, but start low and slow. I will say that I did that as well. And now I take a full dropper because, and I will tell you this in pure honesty because I am human, but when I was eating paleo, and I did not have dairy and I did not have any gluten at all, I could have no pain with a quarter of a dropper. But working nights, there's only so much I can do. So I have chosen to be eating some dairy and some gluten because honestly, it's just easier to make one meal instead of having 2 or 3 meals for my family per time. So I am eating more of the things that I know that cause inflammation in my body. So I'm using more CBD. So again, that's an example just even in my personal life of how, depending on how I treat myself, depends on how much CBD that I use. Okay, so what makes Young Living different? This is where I get so excited. So excited. If my honey wasn't on a Zoom in the other room, I would probably be screaming. But again, I also don't want to bust y'all's eardrums. So what makes Young Living different? Smart spectrum versus broad spectrum CBD. Okay, let's break this down. So we have smart spectrum CBD. It's never been done before. The CBD world speaks in terms of broad spectrum, which is using the whole plant, which is considered better, and isolates, which use just part of the plant. Again, Young Living's like, I mean, those are okay, but we can do it better. Let's do it better. And that's what they've done. So there are 3 reasons, in short, why to use Young Living's way of doing it and why it's better. Number 1, broad spectrum versus isolate. We don't do either. Instead, we'd use a third route called smart spectrum. And so let's see, with our seed to seal standards for purity, you can't use the whole plant. You also can't guarantee that it's 100% THC free if you use the whole plant because you can have 0.3%, right? And it still be considered okay. Young Living's like, we want everybody to be able to use this CBD. So they used that smart spectrum. Because Gary was like, I mean, what if military personnel want to use it? Hello. I almost said something that was not compliant, but basically everybody needs CBD, especially those on the front line that have been through traumatic instances, both physical and emotional. So he wanted to make sure that there wasn't even that trace of the THC. And then the seed to seal standard. That's another reason why it makes Young Living better. And I'll talk more on the broad spectrum here in just 1 second. But seed to seal, it's how we source our plants. It's how they're grown with no fertilizers or pesticides, no sulfur, no radiation, no dyes, no heavy metals of lead, arson, mercury, or anything in the soil. Why is that important? Okay, for years, little known fact, I don't know if you guys know this, but for years, people used hemp plants. They grew them specifically to clean dirty soil because they literally pull all of those toxins and all the contaminants out of the soil. That's what farmers used them for. They're like, oh man, this dirt is getting really bad. We need to start from scratch. Let's clean the soil. They would plant a bajillion hemp plants on that ground. That's a problem, especially if you have land that is not clean, or fertilizers, pesticides, all of those things, because the hemp plants do such a great job at soaking all of that up. And then you're going to make a product that has all of those in the plant. No, thank you. So that's why, again, Young Living is using the virgin soil, the soil that doesn't have anything in it. And it's especially important because of the nature of the hemp plant and its ability to clean the ground. So we need to make sure there's nothing there for it to clean. Okay, number 3. So this comes with the Smart Spectrum. So number 3 is that terpenes and essential oils deliver CBD to the cells. This is the Smart Spectrum technology. So Young Living has gotten only the THC out of the plants, right? But we need terpenes in that, excuse me, did I say THC? I meant CBD, sorry. We need terpenes in the CBD to get the CBD constituents into the cells. But you would have to use the whole plant to make that happen. And Young Living was like, So we have got a CBD. Then we use the oils that are high in terpenes and put them together. So we have the best of both worlds. Terpenes carry the CBD constituents into the cells. They piggyback onto the oil and get delivered into the cells, just like the story I said about the Ningxia Red earlier. Terpenes are why other CBD makers use the whole plant. They need the terpenes in the CBD oil to deliver the constituents into the cell to make the CBD bioavailable. We can skip using the whole plant and its THC potential because we have our essential oils that are high in terpenes. Does that make sense? I kind of rambled a little bit because I get excited and then my words don't come as well. But so we don't have to use a whole plant. Most people use a whole plant because you have to have the terpenes, but that can come with a little bit of THC. Young Living said, absolutely not. Our standards are higher than that. We will get the isolate of the CBD from the plant, and then we will use essential oils that are high in terpenes, marry those together, and then it's the most bioavailable for our bodies with absolutely 0% THC, period, the end. To recap. Okay, let's look at an even closer example of what Smart Spectrum actually means with another video that's so pretty.
Let's start by going over the different types of CBD. First, there's full spectrum CBD, which is extracted from the cannabis plant with all of the plant's other compounds, including THC. Next, there's broad spectrum CBD, which is extracted with all the plant's compounds except for THC, though many broad spectrum products contain it in small amounts. Then there's CBD isolate, which is exactly what it sounds like, CBD that is isolated from all other compounds in the plant. At Nature's Ultra, we use CBD isolate because it's the most pure form of CBD. That gives us the confidence of knowing that there are no unknown compounds in it. It's simply pure CBD, straight from our partner farm in Colorado. Using a CBD isolate is a great way to ensure that our CBD is pure and potent, but it also means that you can miss out on potential benefits of terpenes. Fortunately, high quality, safe, and effective terpenes can be added back using essential oils. That's why at Nature's Ultra, we craft our own Smart Spectrum CBD products by taking high quality CBD oil and combining it with Young Living essential oils. That means that you can enjoy the benefits of both. Many people are already familiar with essential oils, but let's do a quick refresher. Essential oils are natural oils that are distilled from plants, including trees, roots, leaves, seeds, fruits, and flowers. Part of what makes essential oils great is a group of natural compounds called terpenes. Terpenes are naturally occurring hydrocarbons that are the most common source of aromas and flavors in essential oils. In fact, if a plant has a distinct smell or flavor, it's probably because it has terpene. Essential oils and CBD make great partners because they complement each other so well. The terpenes in the essential oils have their own unique benefits, such as offering an energizing aroma, helping to soothe tired muscles, and promoting a good night's sleep. By combining essential oils and CBD, we go beyond the benefits of CBD and essential oils on their own to create something truly special. And best of all, by adding terpenes from Young Living essential oils to our CBD products, we are able to provide a premium product with no unknown ingredients. We know that every single component of our product has been carefully vetted to ensure it's of the best possible quality. There's no other CBD oil like it in the world.
Period, the end. And that is what is so awesome. Just like with our essential oils, we don't have competitors with Young Living. Like literally everybody and their mama is trying to say that they have essential oils right now and CBD. But I personally have known nurses that have lost their license because they wanted to use CBD and they didn't use Young Living CBD and they got it from whatever mom and pop place locally, which I love small businesses. I will support small business first and foremost. But the problem is they just don't have that technology or the funds to be able to make the CBD quite like we can with Young Living. And then, you just cannot, you can't trust that it is as safe as you need it to be with absolutely no THC. And with Young Living, what's nice is we don't do greenwashing. When we say seed to seal is like purity is our standard, you don't have to worry that we'll smudge the lines here or smudge the line there. It is something that we know, period, the end, that it is a safe and it is a clean and it is an effective product. And Young Living has gone above and beyond because that was Gary's motto, right? He doesn't make a product for a profit. He made it for a purpose. So this is just a breakdown of the USDA organic versus Young Living seed to seal standards. Because with the USDA organic standards, you can still have some nastiness involved in the process. And then we're getting that in our products and we don't want those in our products. We are taking very highly concentrated plant substances for a reason, again, to help support our body's function the best way possible. We don't want, so essential oils drive oxygen and nutrients into the cells and force toxins out, right? With our CBD, it is taking oxygen and nutrients, and then those terpenes with those essential oils are taking CBD into the cells. What if it's got some of those or allowed organic compounds or non-organic material allowed? It's literally going into our cell. That is not okay. The whole reason that we're on this journey is to be healthier overall. We don't want to potentially sacrifice that with a lesser than product. Okay, so Young Living seed to seal, no pesticides or chemicals, chemical-free soil. All pest control is done with essential oils. That's so cool. One of the things that I learned from my first harvest was Young Living distills. The very first distillation is our essential oils for our medicinal quality oils, right? But then if they distill it again, that doesn't have any therapeutic properties to it, but they use that as the pest control and then, or the floral water or whatever, right? So it's nice to know that Young Living is getting every single thing out of the plant possible, but that we are only getting the very highest quality therapeutic essential oils. Let's see. Oh, yes. Water and soil air tested, uses heirloom seeds, no genetically modified seeds. And then 50 plus trained scientists. I have harassed a large majority of them. And that's what's so great, is because you don't have to be a Royal Crown Diamond in Young Living, having this huge organization to be able to ask questions. I started asking questions at the Mona, Utah farm before I was even a member. I was like, so I'm like hearing stuff about essential oils, but I'm a nurse, and I need to know that this hippie stuff is actually worth it. And like they literally spent hours with me, and I was sold on Young Living. So it's nice to know that they will talk to anybody. So here is a fun video about the farm that I thought you guys would like to see, because thanks to world events right now, we can't actually get to the farms, unfortunately.
So here we are on our farm in Colorado. We chose Colorado for our farm because Colorado has such a high elevation. There are no pesticides required. And that also ensures that your product doesn't have any pesticides. And we also chose Colorado because they are leading the way when it comes to regulation. We want to make sure that we're partnering with states that are committed to growing this industry, and Colorado is definitely at the top of that list. One of my favorite things about Colorado is our entire hemp farm is naturally grown in the sunlight. We want to be a part of the ecosystem, so it's another reason we don't use any pesticides. There are, bees and other bugs around here that actually don't harm the plant at all, and they just live here. So it's really important to us, whether it's sunlight, the well water, the soil, everything's got to be dialed in to meet our required product. We use organic farming practices, and we do that on purpose because the USDA has not come into the space and said that this crop can be certified organic. We're in essence complying with everything that would be required by the USDA to make our crop as organic as possible. So when they do release that certification, it's available to us immediately. And part of that for us is rotating the crop. So we'll actually put a different crop on the field in between the two harvest seasons. And that way the crop is able to pull out some of that toxins and other stuff in the dirt. It helps purify the dirt before the next rotation of hemp plants are born. There are several wells all throughout our farm here. And these wells are really important because you want to know the source of your water, because the quality of that water will dictate the quality of your plants. This is obviously something that the plants are getting on a consistent basis. If that water source is not up to the quality standards, your plant will not meet the quality standards. So all of our well water is tested and certified before we use it. After the harvest is done, the soil is still have some treatments left. And what we do is actually go back through the field and mulch the leftover stalks and any leftover hemp plant and mulch it back into the dirt. And this helps the soil get all the nutrients naturally from what's either grown and other plants that are still in there. It mixes all back up, and then you're left with a nice clean field. Everything that is in this is recycled back into it. And again, all plays back to quality. We don't go through all these efforts for no reason. We want to make sure that the moment it's planted and the seed is in the ground, that it's got the best opportunity to be the fullest plant possible.
All right, that's a funny face film to stop with. But so we talked a little bit about the science. Let me see. Sorry about that. Let's see. Oh, let's talk about Booth. I love it. But the key leading up to Dr. Mike Booth talking and something that we don't necessarily talk about all the time. We talk about like the quality of our oils, but we don't necessarily talk about the fact that we have the largest essential oil library in the world with over 30 years of research. Because a lot of the studies, one, that were done like since the beginning of time didn't have the ability that we have today with our machines for the accuracy of those tests, but also too, the equipment. Young Living has like millions and millions and millions of dollars just in the labs to test the products before we ever get them. I think they said that it's tested like 11 times. Each one of our products and oils are tested 11 times before it gets to us. And at any point in that system, if those oils do not meet the standards, we don't get them. That's why we didn't have lavender forever and peace and calming forever. And they made a lavender 2 and a peace and calming 2 because the seed to sale standard, we know what that chemical constituent makeup should look like on each one of those oils. And if they do not match with Young Living standards, we do not use it. And then let's see, they said that they've gathered the library of research by researching on 6 different continents, which is really cool. I actually love the part of convention every single year when Dr. Mike Booth comes up and he's like, time for science, and everybody goes to sleep. And I'm like, I'm so ready. I have like all of my highlighters because we are basically giant hippie nerds in Young Living. And I love it because I want to know it is not just a frou-frou, something that's going to smell good. I want to know that it is positively impacting our lives for the better. So this is a fun little video from Dr. Mike Booth.
Hi everyone, I'm Mike Booth and I'm the Chief Science Officer here at Young Living. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about our new CBD line known as Nature's Ultra. So here we are in the quality control laboratories at Young Living, and I wanted to show you a few of the tests that we actually use to ensure that you're getting the best CBD products possible. This is an instrument called an ultra-high performance liquid chromatograph, and we use these instruments to measure the amount of CBD in every product to make sure you're really getting your money's worth. We also use instruments like these to make sure that you're actually getting 0% THC. Now down here is another suite of instruments that we call gas chromatographs. We can measure thousands of different impurities with these instruments. They're extremely sensitive and very accurate. Now speaking of impurities, another thing that we always want to check for are heavy metals, which come from the soil and go into the plants. Bad heavy metals, things like lead and mercury. This is an instrument called an inductively coupled plasma mass spectrometer, and it can find heavy metals down to the part per billion level. It's extremely sensitive, and this is a way that we can make sure that your products are as clean as they could possibly be. Now finally, let me walk you over here and show you something that most people never get to see. This is our state-of-the-art microbiology laboratory. And of course, we have microbiologists working in here all the time to ensure that our products don't contain any nasty bacteria or yeasts or mold. So we test each and every product thoroughly for microbes. This is just some of the things that we do to ensure that you're getting the absolute best CBD products from Nature's Ultra and Young Living.
Again, that's the standard, going above and beyond. And honestly, like that's why like I did 4 years worth of research before starting my essential oil journey into essential oils, the science, and then Young Living as a company, how they were founded, their integrity, all of those things. So I have no doubts when it comes to the quality and the purity of Young Living products. So when another product comes out, I'm like, sweet, another one to use. I don't have to dive into it or question the quality of Young Living's products because I know, bar none, we are the world leader in quality and integrity. So where do we start? We've just talked about how awesome CBD is. And I will tell you that there's also on Discover LSP, there's a small, or growinghealthyhomes.com, there's a small little booklet on CBD as well that can give you some more of that science. You don't have to get like, if you're like a big book on CBD and you're like, your eyes are glazing over, you can get that small booklet to give you some more information without it being overwhelming for you. So where do you start? We've already talked about how awesome these products are. You want them in your home, right? Excuse me. So what's awesome about Young Living is that we have starter bundles or starter kits. This helps you to get the best, very best bang for your buck, because Young Living's starter kits are always dramatically cheaper. Again, that is because they want to help you and your family economically get the best bang for your buck. And with Young Living starter kits, what's awesome is that you become a part of the Cool Kids Club and you get 24% off of retail with your wholesale membership. It's kind of like a Costco thing, but what's awesome is that Costco has yearly fees. Young Living doesn't. As long as you purchase once within a calendar year, you remain active at a $50 or a 50 PV mark. There are absolutely no like forced monthly requirements for you to have your membership. I personally recommend to start off with a regular strength CBD, work up to it, and then in like 3 or 4 months, then you can get to the stronger strength if that is something that you are needing for your family. Both of these, again, are awesome, amazing deals. It comes with the citrus, which is yummy. It is like bright and awakening. I love it. And then it comes with the calm roller. You want to talk about rave reviews. So our 2-year-old, our almost 8-year-old is a redhead, and we thought that she was a tough baby. Our 2-year-old has gone through the ringer. She has been through a lot in her little life, and she has got some big emotions because of it. And the CBD Calm is our jam for her. She goes, okay, mommy, I'm better. Sorry. Thank you. You know, like it's the cutest thing ever. We use that Calm. We use it for the big kids before testing, before schools, because bullies suck. We use it for the little ones. I use it if I know like work is just going to be like a super intense night. I will take it to work with me. The muscle rub. I mean, yes, we use it. Every single one of us uses it. And my honey doesn't necessarily like the super cooling effects, but this is nice because it works really good without it being like a super, super cooling effect, if that makes sense. It's just like a comfortable cooling effect. So those are the 2 options. And then we do have different flavors of the CBD, like the droppers. So it does come with the citrus for the starter kit, but you can get the different flavors later. So let me see. Oh, this is an animated slide, I believe, talking about the dropper. Let's see if it'll show you. Let's see. Maybe it's just it's just an animated slide. Just kidding. So this is the stronger strength. And then it comes also with the, the Calm roller. Oh, I kind of just talked about all these beforehand, but the Calm roller is amazing. Again, this is the stronger strength. We've never bought the stronger strength. Our 300 milligram strength has been amazing for us. But the 600 milligram strength would probably be really beneficial if you're having some issues like with sleep and things like that. Then, yep, see, it's just saying, oh, it's so pretty. Yay. Okay, next. I don't want to keep you guys here forever. So this is the joint and muscle balm. And I will say, like, I have personally even used it, like when I was pregnant, I had pups really bad. And so I would like rub it all over my body, except for my belly, of course. And it would help soothe those. If I am just like worn out after a shift, my legs can be really restless and hard for me to fall asleep. I will rub it on them for that, and it just knocks them out and calms them down. A little bit goes a super long way. It took like a year for me to get through that whole container. I'm not even kidding. At least 8 months, maybe not a whole year, but at least 8 months. Like it takes a long time, and we use it very frequently. So that's just telling you what it is. Awesome. Next. Okay, so how to save the most money is by one, getting that starter kit, and then two, there is a program that is completely optional that's called Essential Rewards. I love it because when we talk about the best bang for your buck, we have 4 girls. 2 of them are basically teenagers. We have a 12-year-old, an 11-year-old, almost 8-year-old, and an almost 3-year-old. So our bills are high for our family. And so I want to be able to get our products, our CBD, like all of our household products, our cleaning products, our supplements, our Ningxia, everything that we need, our oils, of course, everything that we need for our family's day-to-day life as cheap as possible and shipped straight to my door, which is awesome. That is what the Essential Rewards program can do for us. Make sure I'm not missing anything because I start talking and get excited. But what's awesome is that I am a huge Target lover. I cannot remember the last time that I bought a product that Young Living has at Target. Young Living has over 700 products. So it's basically like your online wellness store. And like I said, it comes straight to your door, which is phenomenal. And like my Target Red card started off like it was a big deal that I got 5% back. And I was like, what? No. We actually get so much more back with our Essential Words program. It starts off getting 10% back, and then it moves to, oh, this is a video. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I was done. I don't know. But I will keep talking about what I was saying. But you start off getting 10% back with whatever you purchase, and then it moves up to 20% back, and then 25% back. And 1 point equals $1, which is phenomenal. Phenomenal. All you have to pay is shipping. It's amazing. It's free products. And then Young Living always gives you promos every month as a thank you for shopping with us. And when you do that on Essential Rewards, you get extra free stuff. So I like rave about Essential Rewards to anyone and everyone that will listen. And what's nice too is the minimum is only $50. It is not added into our family's budget. I'm transfer buying. So I'm buying my shampoos and conditioners and body washes and lotions and laundry soap and household cleaner. All of those things we now buy through Young Living. Again, so it's not an added expense for our family. It actually saves time and money because I'm not having to go to the store. And I don't know about you guys, but when I go to the store, I buy more stuff. It's crazy, but it is an option and the cheapest way to get your products once you're already a wholesale member. Let's see this real quick. Oh, there you go. Here's a video. Alrighty, so I wanted to show you guys the resources that I have been talking about today. So the very first one that you're going to see is The Power of CBD and Essential Oils. This is the Dr. Oliver Winker book. I mean, it's a decent book. It is not thin. It gives you tons of science, and it's awesome. It does do it in a very, for the most part, layman's terms way, so that even if you're not medical, you can definitely gain a lot of knowledge from that book. And then the CBD book, Plant-Based Wellness, in the middle is that thin booklet. It still has tons of information in it, but it's a much more digestible, small form. And then the CBD Collective, this is an awesome Facebook group. Now, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with social media? Who knows? But if you're wanting to learn more about CBD, this is an awesome community to be a part of. So you can screenshot this if you want. And know that there are so many resources out there for you. I want to thank you for taking time with me today to learn all about CBD. and my quirkiness, because it can really be something that alters your life trajectory for the better. We are a very, very, very education-based tribe, and within our Young Living team, it is super important to educate you so that you can take these foundations and then run with them to be more empowered for your health care. We are the gatekeepers of our homes. It is not something that should be overwhelming. It is something that should be empowering. So we want to empower you with these core classes. This is one of 4 core classes. Like I said, every Tuesday we teach at 2 times, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, and then 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We go over Essential Oils 101, and then Ningxia Red, and we go over the Thieves, which is our cleaning products. And if you've heard of Thieves, like that's what you put Young Living on the map, right? And then our CBD class as well. So thank you so much for your time today. If you have any questions about safety or purity, for the purity thing, no, without a doubt, Young Living has done everything possible to be the safest way for us to get CBD and the max benefits. Period, the end. So if you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to me or to Julie or to whoever friend gave you the link to this class, because I will save this and I will upload it to our tribe's YouTube channel so that it can be viewed at a later time. So I hope this blesses you. You guys have a wonderful day and come back for one of our other classes soon. Bye, everybody. Thank you.